Have you ever found yourself spending money on something you thought would make your life easier just to realize that it was a complete waste? I have definitely been there. Sometimes the things we believe will be useful turn out to do the exact opposite, just draining our wallets and adding clutter to our lives. If this is the first time you're watching my channel, welcome, I'm Seve. I help people to create more simple and minimalist lives. Here are 12 things that you probably shouldn't waste your money on. Number 1, expensive gear for a hobby you have had for a couple of months. Now, this could potentially be a good investment, but my own personal experience has been that more often than not, it is not a good investment. Because when we are starting a new hobby or a new relationship or basically new anything, we are riding this high of excitement and enthusiasm. You're super into that thing because it feels like the best thing in the world right now. However, over time, that initial excitement tends to fade away little by little. This doesn't mean that you will drop the hobby completely, but it will not be as important for you or important part of your life as you thought. This has happened to me, especially with hobbies where I started with a group and we are all so into it and it's like a nice hangout with friends type of experience, and then we all invest some money into it, buy the gear that we don't always have to rent it, but then we move on to the next thing that is like the new fun thing for us to do. And here the pitfall is making big investments to certain gear, for example equipment, during those first couple of months when you're just getting started with that. I think it's so much better to just keep renting those or buy like very beginner basic level things, and then when you have had that hobby for a long time, multiple months or even more than a year, then you can invest in more those like advanced or more expensive gear when you know that they will be useful for you and you are not gonna drop the hobby soon. Otherwise you may just be left with equipment worth hundreds and you have no idea what to do with it. You can sell those, but then you will only get like half of your money back. Number 2, technology if the newer model is coming out soon. Technology is constantly evolving and new products are coming out all the time. And how the industry works is that usually when a new drop is coming, that means that the older models are sold with a cheaper price, like their price drops at the same time. So that's why what I suggest to do is always check the release dates of these newer models. Many times they have announced them already multiple months before and there have been some news. All these tech gurus like to go through all those and write articles and discuss about those, so the information is out there online for sure. In a good case, by just waiting a few weeks, you could save even hundreds, depending kind of what you are buying. But in general, I would say if you need to buy new technology and you don't necessarily need the newest and the best thing, don't buy that. Like buy the older models or more basic versions if you are not sure. It's usually like the most expensive ones are made for the people who really need all those features that they have, and you could just have everything that you need in that cheaper or older version. Number 3, donating money to the rich. A lot of people donate money to people and causes that they believe in and that give them value. And I think that that is completely fine. But there are cases where I don't think that this is the best use for this money and it can be kind of a waste, especially for you as somebody who is donating the money. Let's, for example, take big streamers or content creators who have tens of millions of subscribers or followers. They don't necessarily need your $5, even though they are giving you value and it's entertainment and fun or giving you information. For them, that $5 might not be anything. They might already be millionaires. But then if you invest that same $5 for somebody who is working minimum wage 9 to 5 and then spending their evenings to stream or create content, it can mean everything. It can mean the world and push them to continue that and do more. It can really make their whole entire week. Also, I think donating to like political causes, especially individual politicians who are already millionaires, can be, I mean, it goes in the same category, I guess. I have heard or read some news that in the US, Donald Trump had this like Bible thingy. I probably should have done more research before mentioning it in my video, but that you can basically buy a Bible that is his, like Donald Trump Bible or something like that, and I don't know how much it cost, but I think the guy already has quite a lot of money. Yeah, maybe a little bit waste, and some other people, some other causes would benefit way more from this money. I think it's a very good thing to donate and to invest in causes, people, and in things that you believe are making the world a better place. But if you know that the impact of that will be very, very minimal, then just reconsider where you are making that donation so that your money is not completely wasted. Number 4, brand new minimalist clothing, especially while promoting the idea of owning less. For me, this just sounds quite counterintuitive, because there's the minimalist aesthetic and then there's the minimalist as a lifestyle or philosophy. And you don't need to have that aesthetic to live that lifestyle. It doesn't make any sense for you to buy clothing of minimalist aesthetic, for example, wearing just black and white clothes so that you can call yourself a minimalist, especially if you're buying those clothes as new and you already had enough clothes. I think the right approach in this as a minimalist would be to use the clothes that you have currently already. If you have too many, you can declutter some of those, and when those clothes that you have are becoming old and really worn out, then you can buy more clothes, and then maybe you can have that new minimalist looking wardrobe if you would like to. But just buying more things, especially clothes, to become a minimalist doesn't really make sense and is waste of money. Number 5, medicine without changing your habits. I think in the medicine business and health industry, the more these companies sell these drugs and the more the doctors promote them or prescribe them, the more money they get. Obviously, that's how the business works. But I think that this is or can be very dangerous, that the doctors are just giving drugs to people to help them with their pain, but they don't even care about their lifestyle and their habits. Could be that they are just not sleeping enough, and then they are getting all these pills for all their pains, when the solution would be completely free. Just try to sleep more and that would fix everything. It would save so much money from these people and help them much faster. That's why I think before starting to buy especially expensive medicine, it's very good to look at your lifestyle, look at your habits. How is your sleep? How is your diet? Are you exercising enough? Going outside of your house enough? Number 6, name brand medication. I don't know how things work in the rest of the world, but at least here in Finland where I live, my experience has been this. If I get an injury or if I had to go basically to get some medicine that was prescribed to me by a doctor, the pharmacist has asked me, do I want the one that the doctor prescribed to me, or do I want one that is basically cheaper, more inexpensive version, but with the exact same effect? And when I got this question for the first time, I was really like, well, is it really the same? Because why that the other one is so much more expensive then? Like, what am I paying for? And then she was like, yeah, it's basically the same exact thing. It will give you the same effect. So why are some brands then more expensive than others? Of course, there could be some quality things and all that, but I think it's the advertising costs that they need to cover those somehow, and then the price is just more expensive. So basically me as a consumer, I'm paying for those advertisements, and then I'm more familiar with this brand, and that's why I'm buying it. And these not so known brands are not running any advertisements anywhere, and that's why it can be cheaper. Of course, if you're not sure and you don't have this professional advice like given to you that it's exactly the same thing, I think it's safer to go with the one that you are familiar with, that you know, maybe you have used it before. But if you don't really care about that, and if you know it's gonna give you the exact same thing, then why not choose the more cost-effective option and save that money? Number 7, college or university degrees without a plan for using them. One reason why I never went to a university was because I saw that as a just waste of money and waste of time, because I had no idea what I wanted to do. And even here in Europe, where the education is basically free and you don't need to pay for any like tuition fees or all that, you still need to pay, of course, for your rent and for your food. And if you're studying full time, probably you have to get a loan, student loan, to cover all those expenses for those multiple years that you are studying. And in countries where the education is not free and it costs a lot of money, the financial risk is also, of course, much bigger. Without a clear plan or an actual passion to work in that industry, you might waste thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands on that degree that you will not even use ever. And I get it that when you are 17, 18, or 19, you feel lost and you have no idea what to do with your life, and then you are just kind of doing what everybody else is doing. But I think that it would be much wiser to save this time, save this money, and take a couple of years off, especially if you know that you have the opportunity to maybe later start at university, to kind of learn about life more and understand yourself better, have some work experiences in different fields and get that understanding what suits you and what you actually want to do with your life. This is exactly what I did, and now, even though ever in the past I thought I would go into university, it starts to sound much more appealing because I know what I want to do with my life, more or less, I guess. I think we are all still figuring things out as we are growing and evolving, but now I understand better what is my career, like what is the impact that I want to have. Of course, there are multiple fields where you need higher education, you need a degree, but if you have no idea at this point what you want to do with your life, I think it's better to just not go that direction yet. Wasting money on a degree just because all your friends are doing it and you are supposed to do it is just, I think, a very expensive way to seek out external validation. Number 8, multiple phone chargers. I get that many of us end up with multiple chargers because we are buying new devices, new phones, and then the old ones are just still working fine, so we don't want to trash those. And I think that is fine. I also have a backup charger. I think if you have 10, maybe it's better to donate those to people who need them more than you. But if you are buying new chargers so that you can have one in every room, it starts to be financially not that good choice. Of course, it might be fun and saving a little bit of time so that you don't need to get it from a room to another, but ultimately, do you really need all that convenience in your life? I think not. We are living a very convenient life already. I think in general with technology, my rule is kind of, if I don't absolutely need to replace something, then I don't replace it. I don't buy new things. This mindset just saves so much money in the long term. Number 9, nightclubs. When I was younger, I used to go clubbing like every weekend, and now I haven't set a foot in one for years and I have zero interest going back either. They're just so expensive. First you have to wait outside in a line for a long time. Then when you get in, you have to pay the entrance fee. Then you have to pay for somebody to take your coat and keep it stored like for the time that you are staying in the nightclub. And then the drinks, they cost insane amount of money, like 5 times more than if you bought the same drink from a supermarket or something like that. Spending one night at the nightclub can easily cost 100 or 200 euros, which is way too much money for me. Sure, clubbing can be fun every now and then, but if I'm thinking of activities that are actually fun and entertaining, activities that help me to deal with stress, that is not one of those. That is like basically the opposite of those. I think there are so many better ways to deal with busy and stressful life than that. Number 10, phone apps that send you reminders to be present. Now, I have never used an app or service like this, but I am sure that they exist. For me, it's just very ironic that you are doing whatever you are doing and then you get a notification to your phone. You grab your phone and it's telling you to be present, basically taking you away from the present moment where you just a moment ago were to take your phone, and possibly you might even end up just scrolling that. And then there are people who actually pay for something like this. For me, that's crazy. I think there are much better apps out there if you want to like stay present in your life. But in general, if you want to use your phone less, downloading another app or buying another app most likely will not help you in that process. It's better to just have no apps in your phone, so there's nothing to do. Number 11, new cars. I'm pretty sure you agree with me on this one. I read some statistics and data about this exact topic, and basically a new car loses around 9% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot. Like during those couple of minutes, 9% gone, just like that. Then within the first year of use, it usually loses 20% of its value. And after 5 years, it has lost 50 to 60% of its original value. For me, that just sounds crazy. And then there are people who get a loan to get new cars. So they have to pay interest, even more money, for something that is losing its value all the time. That is just like pretty bad deal, or at least that's how it sounds to me. Cars that are just a few years older usually have the same features, same functions and safety things, like more or less, with a fraction of the price. So it can be a little bit hard to justify why you need that brand new car. Number 12, another car related, and that is driving too fast. I think we all know that the gas prices have gone up a lot in the recent years. So of course, if you are driving faster, you will consume more gas and therefore you have to pay more all the time. That adds up really quickly, but I think there are other factors to consider here as well. For example, the risk factor. The faster you are driving, the more likely you are to actually crash your car, to hit something, get a puncture, or basically anything just breaking in your car. And the maintenance or fixing cost can be really, really big. Or another thing is as well, when you are driving fast, you might end up getting just speeding tickets. So more money down the drain again. I don't understand what is the rush all the time to go from a place to another. I think much better approach would be to just slow down and enjoy the ride and not wish that you were already there and that's why you are going so fast. When you are enjoying the present moment like that, it's much better for your mind and also for your wallet in this case. For even a longer list of things that I'm not wasting my money on, check out this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one. Ciao.